818 at K-Fire Guns in the 701. Hi, Clay. How are you?
Good. How we doing, Todd?
Doing just fine. You all ready for the weekend there? Get some pheasant going and stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to head up with Jamie, and we're heading up to his dad's place. And yeah, going to have a great time. I haven't hunted pheasants like we're planning this weekend in a long time because I haven't had any down here.
No,
yeah,
you got to be
invited me up there.
Got to be extra careful. You know, the fire thing. It's
yeah.
No s'mores this weekend.
No s'mores, and if you're out hunting, everybody, I know archery seasons are open for deer and antelope. If you're down there on the reservation, and I think rifle season's even open. But please don't even drive on the 2 lanes. I made a point not to do it even on my own place. It's like a tinderbox. It truly is. There's been several fires in this area. Of course, we know what's happening up around Watford. It is very dangerous out there to be driving anything. So,
yes, find a friend with an EV that you've been teasing all this time and say, hey, let's take your thing out and just show me how well it does. Because they don't have a catalytic converter on the bottom. It's going to catch on fire with the grass underneath, the dry whatever underneath it.
Yeah, no catalytic converters to start fires.
Catalytic, not Cadillac.
Catalytic.
Cadillac converter. If only it were that easy. Converter. Let me just take my old Chevette and voila, it's now a Cadillac. It's a Cadillac converter.
I know. Perfect. It's just like when people said, hey, I own a vet now. They didn't tell you the Chevette.
Right. The Chevette. There's that one with the cat and then the blonde chick, and the blonde chick said, you had a vet, and they got to a Chevette.
Yeah. Chevette.
My dad test drove one of those when I was a kid. I remember riding in the back seat going, oh my God, please don't buy this. Please don't buy this. Please don't buy this. There was no room back there. Plus, I was kind of a big kid.
I got you point A to point B, but definitely wasn't in style.
Although I think everybody ought to be forced to drive something like that for a little while, so you do appreciate a finer vehicle, such as a Schwann, a Cadillac, or Buick, or GMC later in life.
Nice plug.
I seamlessly work the client in there without having to change the subject. Isn't that great?
If you own a Chevette, you can always take it down to Lauer Auto Repair and 300 South Washington, and they'll get you hooked up down there. How'd you like that one?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, no offense, but I'm not sure that Schwann wants a Chevette on their lot. They probably just go ahead and say, you know what, you guys take that one. That's fine. Jamie says, I have a gas fire pit at the ranch, no sparks. Yeah, but careful with the flames. Go. That's just it. Hey, gun control advocate heading towards epic defeat in Montana. Yes. Is Montana become like California North now, or what's going on over there?
Well, parts of it have. You get up there in that Missoula or Kalispell area, it's not nice. And it's full of Coloradans that came from California.
It's transplants, just like the TV show Yellowstone. You don't want to think that everything on TV is real or whatever, but that part of it they kind of nail, don't they?
They do, and they've had some Democrats in the Senate. They've had them as governors. I mean, it's been a purplish state, but it looks like it's probably heading red after everything, and that's what I think is funny. So Ryan Boosie, I think that's how you bust. I don't even know how to pronounce the guy's name. I think it's Boosie, but this guy, he used to work for Kimber Firearms. If everyone knows what Kimber was, and he was an executive there. And he just went off the rails. He quit and he left. Who knows? Probably had left-leaning things on his mind then, and ditched the entire gun industry, and then started becoming an advisor to the Giffords campaign on gun confiscation, what me and Jamie like to call it, and then become a paid expert in all these cases that were out there defending states that were putting in crazy gun laws like red flag laws and things that just completely violate your Second Amendment rights. Well, I don't know why he thought he could move to Montana and take on the Republican there, but he thought he'd give it a whirl, and he's now 22 points behind the incumbent governor, who is a Republican and is pro-gun. And Montana is not the place to go and run as an anti-gun advocate. It just isn't. I mean, hunting and that and the
it's becoming more of one, given the amount of people on the left that are moving there, though. That's the problem. We need a John Dutton over there to take people to the train station, but
probably. It's like I always
did I
said,
say that out loud?
Here,
Wow.
I've always said, if you want to move out in this area, or South Dakota, Wyoming, the Midwest in general, we should have a fence there. You got to fill out a form for application to come. And those of us who are patriots, we'll decide whether you get to come.
I wonder how many tourists are looking for the train station from Yellowstone as they drive around.
Oh my God.
Where is this place? And
same ones that are petting buffalo.
Probably. Or what's the I had the meme the other day with the it's going to take me too long to go through my crap. I post too much stuff. I know I should cut down on that. Just like a bazillion other things in my life, but there was something with a skunk in there, and don't pet the stinky cat or something like that.
Oh my
I'm like, yeah, probably don't want to do that. Yeah. But then the next thing I find is somebody that rescues a skunk, and then the skunk has babies, and they got like 7 or 8 skunks running around. How'd you like that? 7 or 8 skunks running around inside your house. That wouldn't make you feel kind of weird, would it?
Yeah, it'd be horrible. It's not enough the dogs get sprayed. Oh,
Gee, yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't seem to be spraying. They actually seemed to be very nice, but I just don't. Waking up to that, it's like, oh no, what the? Clay's here, guns of the 701 on K-Fire. Right? Yeah, no kidding. 825 and K-Fire, Clay, guns of the 701. Recent grizzly bear attacks, rather. I was starting to say A, but there's more than one. Should alarm anti-gun Washington. What are we supposed to do? Throw a rock?
Well, use the original assault weapon, right?
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
They want to reintroduce the grizzly bears out in Washington State, which, come on. Grizzlies they've been around, and they've left, they've been killed. Yes, they've been eradicated. There's still bears around. But reintroducing them in is going to be just as disastrous as bringing the wolves in. And as you can see, we've had a rash of grizzly bear attacks, even black bear attacks, in Idaho and Montana. And some have been serious, some have not, but they're getting more. They're occurring more often. That's the biggest thing.
Please, nobody text me all bears matter, okay? Don't text me that.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Good grief. Anyway.
It's been, hikers, hunters, they're seeing them. We had some bow hunters that had to defend themselves. But where they want to introduce these over there in Washington is on the boundaries. It's the reintroduction zone of the North Cascades National Park. Then, of course, you've got the surrounding lands, which are part of the national forest. So it's not just going to be in that park. And I don't know, but I even bet, even though I know you don't hunt a lot, I bet you can put 2 and 2 together that predators don't just stay where they're put, do they?
No, but having lived in Tacoma, Washington for a little while, I can think of some parts of that town that wouldn't be the end of the world if you threw a few bears in there and just let them do their thing. But
horrible idea.
Did I say that
the
out
people
loud?
Around there, yeah, just right out loud. The people out there didn't want it. I mean, they made their public statements when I was looking into this, and of course the government ignored it. And the Harris administration, they're going to move forward with this.
Makes you wonder why the Harris administration?
Well, that's what it is. We know it is.
Dude.
It's just not official yet, right?
Technically, I know. Well, then why don't we call it the Obama administration term 3?
There you go. That's probably...
If you're trying to be accurate here, then let's be accurate.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. Can't take you anywhere, Clay. Guns of the 701. We got more coming up on K-Fire. K3 K-Fire Guns of the 701. Clay and I proving off the air that we should have a subscription channel for the conversations off the air.
Probably should. We really should.
So I could get fired from my on-air conversations. But anyway, justified self-defense in a Tallahassee hemp store shooting during an attempted robbery. Well, I mean, you should be able to defend the Second Amendment. Isn't that kind of what it's all about, defending yourself?
Well, that is the main point of the Second Amendment. Protect ourselves from everything, whether it's whether it's a thug like this gentleman or, from other things that might come at you. And might be a bear, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, wouldn't you want to have one in your hand if suddenly there was a bear?
Yeah, I never went into the wilderness when I was hunting, Wyoming, Colorado back in those days without a sidearm. That was just like a prerequisite. Yep.
Yeah.
That's on my checklist.
Don't they give them to you at birth out there?
What's that?
Don't they give them to you at birth out there? Here's your diaper. Here's your gun. Get it figured out as quick as you can. Anyway.
Yep, and a pliers. You got to have a good pliers. Anyway.
Oh, man.
And here we are in Florida. Florida, of course, has been in the news with everything going on down there with the hurricanes. And you know what? I'm glad we were able to have a good friend of mine on Wednesday night while the hurricane was going on. And they're safe. Everything. They were okay. Of course, it was Cat 3, so there's damage, but it was not the hurricane of the century like they were talking. So
yeah, I mean, because the thing with the Orlando meteorologist on Fox down there that was just talking about like fourth worst ever on Earth, and like you say, they got it weakened, before it hit, but still.
Still, yeah.
There are plenty of people that have plenty of floods going on. So there are plenty of people going, yeah, nothing happened? Come on. Look at my backyard.
I would tell you that, like my buddy who lives down, that's where we go hog hunting. He flat out tells me, he goes, how they present blizzards down in their area up for here? He says, you'd think you all are going to die up there. He's kind of the same thing here. He goes, when you guys hear your news up there and they talked about it, he goes, it's kind of the same thing. It's sensationalized, and they should just take it one step at a time, because hurricanes, they can build and then go away, or they can be small and get big. I mean, it has happened. But he says when they do that, he says they make it worse because people panic. And there's probably a lot of truth.
We get the same thing with snowstorms. Oh, we're going to have,
Absolutely.
12 to 20 inches of snow, and you get like 2. And at some point, it gets pretty Pavlovian. Everybody just like, I'm not going to react because every time you guys do this crap,
nope.
You just don't believe them after a while.
Where I live, I just make sure I got everything full, the livestock's taken care of, the generator's hooked up, and the tractor's ready. I don't care what happens.
Bring it.
Running, we're good.
Well, I mean, that is, if you live in the Dakotas in the wintertime, you should be ready anyway, even if it's a winter where we don't get a darn thing. Still ought to be ready for it, but whatever.
Oh, absolutely. So, let's get back to Florida again. And so what I thought was interesting about this one is a couple guys tried to rob a hemp store down there. Now, I don't know about you.
Were they stoners? Are they going to vote for Measure 4?
I laughed at this. I think that's Measure 5 you're talking about.
Or 5. 5, sorry. I couldn't see through the green haze what number's on the thing.
That big smoke cloud. But yeah,
anyway.
It was 2 guys that tried to do it. So they walk in there, they attempt to rob this guy at the Florida Hemp Distribution Center, I guess. That's all it said about it. And that didn't go so good. To me, whether it's illegal or illegal, I'm not going to try and rob a drug dealer. I was
going to say. People. Something tells me they're ready to defend themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, they might be.
If anybody's ready, it's them.
And Florida has some great stand your ground laws, so not the ideal state to do it in either, because pretty sure you're going to get a little, what we call a thug plug now, and that's exactly what happened.
Thug plug? Okay.
Yep.
Got the lingo already. Yeah, just robbing a drug dealer. You better be a better drug dealer if you're doing that. Or don't become one in the first place, but...
Right. Well, they had a store owner. It's Alex Petrick. He says, 2 men entered the shop. They approached a lone employee they had on duty. He says the situation escalated. So the employee drew his firearm, issued multiple verbal warnings, and told them to leave. They did not respond well, and he kept telling them, leave, don't make me do this. Well, that didn't matter. One suspect did flee, I guess, when the gun was shown, but the one continued going after this employee until he got up against the wall, and then when the suspect lunged at him, the employee fired his gun, self-defense, fatally wounding the assailant, so killed him right there on the spot. And good riddance to him. He's just, you're going to rob someone and threaten their life. That's probably the fate you're going to incur.
Well, that's just it. You don't want to get, best. Yeah. What's the old Miyagi line? Best line of defense, don't be there.
Don't be. That's right.
Remember that? I mean,
remember that.
That's the truth. See the crap that sits in my head? It's pretty useless till we get a conversation like this, and all of a sudden it pays off.
Yeah. And the nice thing is I did, after I found this story, I did go to check it out. Looks like as of still right now, they're still investigating it, but no charges are going to be filed against this employee, as rightfully so, because it's being deemed a self-defense shooting. And like I said, it kind of brings us to the armed citizen happy ending of the week. The guy defended himself, exercising his God-given right of the Second Amendment, and pulled somebody off the street that's probably got a rap sheet the way it looked when I was looking this up. They finally released the names, and the guy is not exactly a stellar part of the community.
Imagine that.
In trouble with law. Imagine that. So, so my advice is don't rob your drug dealer. Plain and simple.
I feel like we shouldn't have to have this conversation, It's like, who's the idiot that actually does this? But there is one. There's always, it's the same people, like you say, it's the same people that are petting the buffalo out there.
That's right.
And guess what? They roam among us, and we just have to find a way to deal with them somehow.
Yeah.
And so then it becomes the inner struggle of, do you let him pet the buffalo so nature kind of takes care of the problem?
It kind of does.
Or do you do the quote unquote right thing of maybe you shouldn't pet the buffalo? I mean,
have your pants. Right.
It depends on the person, I suppose. 850 K-Fire's Clay, Guns to the 701. Craig Campbell is NRA country.
Yeah, I actually never heard of this guy because I don't listen to a lot of new country coming out anymore. But hey, he joined up with NRA Country. I guess he's got a pretty cool album out, you call it. I don't know if you call him that anymore. But the Class of '89 just does a lot of great old songs that we listened to growing up, and as far as country music goes. But he's an avid outdoor guy. He goes out. He does like to hunt. He likes to fish, ride his side-by-sides. I mean, he loves being out in the outdoors. And when the NRA approached him and brought him on board as one of their NRA country artists, and now he's out there stumping for the Second Amendment, and he has a new single called Stick to Your Guns. I did listen to it a little bit. It's not exactly my kind of country, but the words are great, and you can tell the guy's pretty passionate about standing up for rights. And the reason I brought this up is we always hear about the bad celebrities that are fighting against us every day, but more and more of them are out there now finally saying, I have to take a stand. I mean, you had Kid Rock. He's definitely a Trump guy. You've got, I can't think of Chad Prather. He's kind of, he's been great about making kind of satire songs, but now he teamed up with John Rich, and they've got one out there talking about our freedom and where the country's been going. You have these stars. Well, look at, I'd call Elon Musk a celebrity. He stepped up, and he stepped up with his wallet, and he's out there because everybody understands what's on the line. So that's my stuff.
Anybody that sends themselves to the moon is a celebrity, I think, in my book, It's like, no, he's there. I mean, he may not be in a movie or whatever, but he's there. He's
there. Everybody knows his name.
What it is. By the way, text of the day before we go. All Bears matter, LOL. Love you guys. There you go. Call back to what we were saying earlier. Yeah, that's why it pays to listen to the whole darn show, because then you get all the good stuff, or at least the stuff we can put on the radio. Guns of the 701 can do some stuff online that I can't do, so when do we see that stuff?
Well, that always uploads to iHeart, so best podcast out there on iHeart.com. Look for Guns of the 701. Also, a big announcement is Jamie and I are teaming up, 701 Nation and Guns of the 701, on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Central.
We're putting the band back together.
That's right. Kelly Armstrong's going to be on with us. And,
there you
go. We're going pheasant hunting. He's a big hunter, and we're going to try and talk about that. And we never really go into the politics with Kelly, because that's not why
I bet he wants the break from it, let alone the rest of us. But
absolutely. We're just guys getting around talking about hunting and shooting and guns, and it's just a great
there you
conversation.
go.
Tune in
It's
to
like
that.
the guy from the pizza place doesn't go home and make a pizza, you know? It's like, can I do something else, please?
And most mechanics, they can't drive their own cars, so they're kind of working on them.
That's true. Some of the worst cars I've ever seen have been owned by mechanics who are actually very good. But, yeah.
I've seen that too. So next week you're going to tune in, of course, every Friday morning here at 8:15 Central, 7:15 Mountain.
If only you could hear what we're talking about off the air, but we could sell a premium subscription to that. All right, Clay, have a great weekend.
Yep, thanks.
Guns in the 701, 854. This is around the corner from Dakota Mornings and Michael Bell. I had one just come in on text. Shirley Carlson, 77 in Bismarck. Congrats.